welcome to the Harlot, in which podcast. Joining me today will be my host.
Mercedes, the harlot, and
I am the witch. Join us today in this safe space where we converse one with another, sharing both fact and opinion. And there's a lot of opinion for today. And just have this safe space so you can zone out of your everyday quarrels. So today's topic, if you cannot tell from our background, is the TikTok ban. Or not ban, as from what we're seeing today. I'll
right,
let
the
you
TikTok
start it off.
we'll see.
Go ahead,
So,
Fern.
as we've seen from January 18th, apparently that's when they decided to cut off TikTok because it wasn't January 19th.
Mm.
They cut it off short. So I went on to TikTok. I'm like, oh, let me use it. Let me see what's going on. Couldn't get on it. It said ban. So essentially, the lawmakers and US officials have officially said, hey, we're going to ban this. It's a national security threat from China onto the US. And this is why they wanted to ban TikTok. So it's been going around. We had it from 2023, trying to get statistics on it to see how people feel in the community, whether it's safe, whether it's not. And most people said it was not, and they didn't want their kids on TikTok. They do plan to come up with a resolution when somebody gets into office tomorrow. So it is banned. It was banned yesterday. Then apparently it came back on today. So in saying all of this, let's get into the statistics, right? Let's get it right from Pew Research. So essentially, the law gave the company a deadline, which was January 19, 2025, one day before Trump got into office. And with no sign of sale in sight, TikTok's last challenge to get sold or come up with a resolution failed from Friday. So that was Friday coming up this past Friday when the Supreme Court said, hey, we're not doing that. We're not doing it at all. So I wanted to get more information on how the community felt about TikTok, because there's millions of people that are on TikTok daily, making a living, entertainment, influencers, all of that.
That's true.
So parents in particular, they said 31% of them supported the TikTok ban for all of America, right? But 50% of them believe that the ban would improve child safety. And I feel like overall, it's understandable because there's so much mass information that we get from TikTok specifically, whether that's politics, that's influence in pornography, influence in, like, seriously, people showing off their bodies, people doing pranks and stuff, and children adhere to that. And they're like, oh, I want to do that. And then 25% of parents consider TikTok to be one of the most dangerous social media platforms for children because it has so much inappropriate content. And then 67% of parents believe children under 18 need legislative protection from the risk of social media. So it's a high percentage of people just basically saying, hey, social media is not good for kids. And in general, I feel like it has come to a point where a lot of adults are needing this ban too. And I would say that because it has, even though there's such a, what, like,
you're one of them. You're in the good number. Keep going.
So anyways, I'm not for the ban. I would love for TikTok to continue and people make their money, and us to be able to get that information from TikTok that we don't get from other platforms and are able to post on there more freely compared to other platforms. So, I'm not for it, but I understand it, and it would make a lot of us more productive in what we do with our daily lives. What about you?
Okay, so thank you so much for those statistics. I think it's good to have that background knowledge. I'm going to talk about it from a little bit of a different perspective of like, where was I when the ban took place? Where I was sleeping in my bed because I really didn't care.
You're down.
I don't use TikTok a whole lot. This one right here sends me a whole bunch of TikToks. Most times I've only begun to use it a little bit more just to post my own content on there and do other things for my other channels. But I feel like I understand why people want the ban and why it's important to parents specifically. But I don't think that I think that this is gonna sound so terrible, but I just think that you shouldn't rely on the government to parent your child. That's your decision. You are the person that's supposed to be, keeping watch of what your child is watching. Like that's very important because the government can't do everything for you. And I think that as long as you instill the right things in your children, at the end of the day, whether they ban it or not, people find ways to do things. There are many things that are banned in this country, but if people really want to do it, they're going to get it done. Even like if you looked on Google, there were so many searches on how to still see TikTok with a VPN and all this other stuff. So people were going to find a way, one way or another. I do, but in my opinion, I understand from the people who made it a business, but social media wasn't here. And we're going to do a quick history lesson for those of you who think that social media has been here this whole entire time. Chronologically, the first social media page was called Bulletin Board System, and it was invented in 1978. There were two others that came after it, but they're not. I'm not going to say they're super relevant. The number one that would most people of this generation or whatever would know is MySpace, which came into being in 2003. Facebook came in 2004. YouTube came into being in 2005. Twitter in 2006, Tumblr in 2007. What was the other one? Then there was Instagram in 2010, Snapchat in 2011, Vine in 2012, and even though Vine died in 2017, and then TikTok in 2016. And I think that I understand for a lot of people, if you have businesses, that's how you market it. There was a lot of people who started businesses and marketed on there. Other people changed their whole entire life. But I hope that the ban taught people that there's a reason you need to have another career field or something to fall back on besides just TikTok and besides just social media in general. Um, I think that it needs to let people know that people were wasting time. People were wasting so much time scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And I think that people, it's not really good for people to be on social media for a long period of time. I feel like you waste away your life dreams and your life goals and your life aspirations just scrolling. And because you're able to live vicariously through other people's experiences instead of creating your own experience. So honestly, I'm here for the TikTok ban. And if they ban it again, I honestly am here for it because I was going to say that I think this year is going to be the biggest lesson is how do you pivot? Because if they choose to ban TikTok again, what are companies going to do? Because
Right.
what did they do back in the day? Even the small mom and pop businesses, what did you do? You got out there, you were on foot. Hey, door to door, knocking. Hey,
Right.
people,
Word of mouth.
word of mouth. And people need to understand this just means you need to push at the other social media pages. I hope that's what people do. If even if TikTok is here to stay for a little bit more longer, people need to start putting more effort into other social media pages that are more likely going to stay. You know, the American ones are going to be here. The Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Snapchats, like they're going to be here. So
Right.
come on now. You
Yeah.
got to be smart. It's just the type of thing like when you see how easy it is for this to be removed. And then another thing, my last thing is take the government seriously. People thought they were joking when they said they were going to ban it. Even though the ban was short and they lifted it, I feel like people need to understand that they could do it again and ban it for real. And then it don't be lifted. Because just because he's going to be in office tomorrow doesn't mean that he's going to 100% be able to be like, okay, then now it's actually banned. It's not banned for real. He may be like, okay, then we come to this conclusion and now it's actually banned. So then what are y'all going to
Yeah.
do? So,
Especially because he was one that proposed for it to be banned.
and he made his own social media platform. So why? What is it called? It's called um, you know what's called? It's called Truth Social. It was like his version of Twitter that he made, and so like this man, if he bans TikTok, he could pour more people to try to get into his own social media page. So I think that yeah, people just need to be prepared. Just be prepared for anything this year. But they were warning y'all a long time coming. So I will say the last little bit of TikTok, like the last couple of days, was so funny because everything on the For You page, let me say something. Black TikTok was just so
TikTok
amazing.
ban.
All the
Yeah, people are
black people
acting
made
up.
so many funeral memes that it was so funny. It's like they made it a good last hurrah. But do you
Yeah.
think, what do you think all of this means, in your opinion, with the ban, not ban, like the whole thing?
I mean, it's understandable because it doesn't belong to America. It belongs to the Chinese government. And it's a Chinese owned company. So I can see them banning it because of safety reasons, but I feel like it's also because of the mass amount of information that we're able to discover and be able to cover compared to other social media platforms. Like that information is spread out so differently on TikTok compared to like Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, Twitter, if I said that already. So I feel like overall people do have to prepare because when he's in office starting tomorrow, you just never know what's going to happen because you have Project 2025, you have many other legislative proposals that he's trying to enact, and he's really unpredictable. So you just never know.
And let me say something about that
Right.
Project 2025 real quick, because I know people are going to get in these comment sections to talk about it. Y'all don't know if this man is or is not going to do it. Not a
Exactly.
single one of us actually know what he is or what he is not going to do. He has said
Exactly.
many things in live before. He has told truths about certain things, but at the end of the day, we will know if he's going to do
What happened?
2025 when he gets in there. So for
Exactly.
before people get in the comment section, oh, because I have a friend that said, oh, he said he's not for 2025. Y'all don't know what this man is for. When he gets in there, we're going to see what he's for. So don't just count it out because a lot of the people in Congress that are Republican are for 2025. So let's
Right.
not play dumb. We don't know what he's going to do, but we have a good hunch of what he's going to do.
Right. So I would just say the unpredictability that we're facing, you have to be prepared for many, many different things, many aspects, many events that can or may not happen. But you just never know because he's unpredictable and he's a liar. So you just have to be like, hey, just like the TikTok ban, people thought it wasn't going to happen. People thought it was. Look what happened. So it's just inevitable for things to happen. And then if there's another possible shutdown of the government in March coming up, so just be prepared, be mindful.
I think that, do you think that the TikTok ban has anything to do with like, do you think that it's this whole situation is a warning or a sign or something of what's to come with his term? Or do you think this was just a,
I feel
I don't
like
even know what to
it's
describe it?
foreshadow for sure
Mm,
of like what he has done with his term before and then what's to come
mm,
because we've seen it. And with all that he's talked about through the different debates that he's hosted, I feel like he's going to turn, like, we've never really been a true democracy. So I really feel like this government is going to turn into something more of a more manipulative, more controlling in his power, especially with so many of the people in office that are for him. So many laws can come into play that, just like Roe versus Wade, we weren't expecting that to be overturned. So I feel like he's going to be more stricter on what he wants and what he feels like is best for America. But I also feel like he's going to definitely have the allies that Biden couldn't, which is obviously having a stronger connection with Russia, a stronger connection with China because of those tariffs. So hopefully he makes use of his time to help the poor, help the less fortunate, help the people that's in the middle class and the lower class, and not just the upper class.
And I hope that he doesn't actually implement those tariffs, because this goes again to people who don't understand tariffs. Just
Mm-hmm.
understand that it's going to be your wallet, your pocket, your
Mm-hmm.
money. You're going to be paying for it.
Exactly.
Just
I
like
understand it
Mexico
now.
was supposed to pay for the wall, but that never
Right.
happened.
Please.
So understand that I don't know. Like I'm not I don't like I said in the previous one, the first 100 days, I don't think it's going to affect a lot of people. I don't think he's going to implement any laws that are really going to just shift things. Now, I could be wrong. And we come
Never
back on
know.
another episode and they be like, oh
Mass
wow.
deportation.
But that's not going to affect us. Like this is why I'm saying most Americans it's not going to
Mm,
affect them.
I mean,
Because
a lot of their families.
yeah, but
But
that's
I
not
get what you're
them.
saying.
You get what I'm saying? Like
I
if
get what
you
you're
have
saying.
family members that are illegal immigrants, then
It's not, yeah, it's not you per se.
it's
So
not you.
yeah.
It maybe affect your family, but that's I guess that's a topic for another day. But I think that that is definitely something for people who are citizens here is not going to affect them. And I think if you're anybody, almost everybody knows somebody who may not have citizenship here, or they may not have permanent citizenship here. They may be here on a school visa or something. So some people may be worried in different groups, but
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
hope that people understand that. Just understand that this TikTok ban was,
It's a
I
door
think
to
it,
open.
it was, I think it was very foreshadowing, because a lot of people, when you look through TikTok, a lot of people felt some type of way because they were like, if 170 million US
Mm-hmm.
users use TikTok and
Mm-hmm.
9 people in the Supreme Court is all it took for it to be banned, they said, what happened to the democracy and the voice of the people?
Ain't no democracy.
So a lot of people, I hope people are opening their eyes. And I'm glad that you highlighted the point where you said that it has not been a true democracy. And it really hasn't for a very long time. If you even since the foundation of the country, because look at the whole system of the electoral college that was put in place so that the regular people, y'all are not deciding. It's the electoral votes that are deciding who is the
Mm-hmm.
president. So I think that when people, there are very small things on a local level that are a democracy where you are able to vote within your cities, your counties for things. But when you look at the government as a whole and you go
Mm-hmm.
higher up and higher up, your vote isn't as impactful as you think, because you vote for congressmen and then they vote different than even how your state votes. So
Yeah. But overall, I would just say this TikTok ban, I feel like is really going to show what's next and what's to come, especially for January 20th, man, when this dude officially gets into office and becomes president. We're really going to have to open up our eyes, use those lenses, wake up.
mm,
Because I feel like we have so much power, but we don't use it. And a lot of us don't understand what it means that we are the people, we create this society, but yet we don't stand up.
And one more thing I was going to say when you were talking back about us getting a lot of different information from TikTok. I will say one thing that I can understand some people's concern. TikTok did expose a lot of different stuff that goes on in our country, a lot of stuff that goes on outside of the country, but a
Right.
lot of people don't fact check. Like, because somebody will put on TikTok and they'll put up an article or something where they got their source from, but it's
Mhm.
very important to even to go refer back to the article, see the credibility of that article, and even compare it to other articles as well. I feel like sometimes people took what somebody made a video on TikTok about as Bible, instead of being
Right.
like, okay, then let me fact check it a little bit more, because just because it looks nice doesn't mean it's 100% true. So I
Mhm.
do understand why some people feel like there's a little information coming from there, which every platform has its varying misinformation and issues. But I still think that that is a valid concern for people who wanted to be like, okay, then maybe there's a lot of information going out, but how much of it is actually valid? But I still think that I think overall it did more good than harm for most people who watched it, because people were watching it for entertainment, people were watching it for their livelihood, to be able to sell
Right.
products and have their business going. I would really like more transparency from our government on what type of information they would be taking and why that's super important, because the American companies such as Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube, they take our information as well.
Mhm.
So what is it, just because it's going in Chinese hands? Because it's already been documented that the American companies are selling our information, and where is that information going to? So I feel like there's a little bit more transparency across the board that they need to ask. Because my question would be, then why don't you ban those as well?
That's true. But I feel like it's also a thing where it's just it could be a cyber attack that happens, and it's
Mm,
not within it's from external sources, which is China. So that
mm,
could be a lot of a big, like a way more bigger problem than
mm,
within the country, just like with the Chinese balloon, and then us them spying on us and just
mm,
what type of information that they got that they can use and give to other countries. So
mm,
if we were more knowledgeable on, of course, like you said, where our information is going, we would
mm,
understand it better. But I do feel like since it's coming from China
mm,
into the US, it's
mm,
different compared to in the US going outward if it's going to other countries rather than
mm.
within the. We
I
just
feel
don't.
like I feel like they just need to be more. They need to hold the American companies to the fire as well. I feel
Mm,
like there have been certain times because I remember Mark Zuckerberg had to go before Congress and other committees
right.
talking about certain things. I said, but there needs to be more transparency on that because I feel like he went up there, said his little thing, got a little slap on the wrist, if that, and then went about his day. But our information is still going out there.
Right.
And there are third party companies that are able to access our information. So I feel like they're so quick to ban TikTok, but that ban should have come to Facebook a long time ago. It should have come to Instagram. It should have come to a lot of these other social media platforms a long time ago when it became known that all our information wasn't safe. It should go to Google too, because a lot of our information gets sold there as well. So I feel like the country needs to keep it equal across the board. I understand it being a national security issue with it just being in China, but we had the issue even before TikTok was introduced in 2016 with other
Mhm.
platforms. So,
No, I definitely understand.
mm,
And I mean, like I said, when Trump gets into office, he's going to try and figure out a way for TikTok to still stay,
mm,
find some type of resolution. Whether China's going to hand it on over through some sale or
right.
not. So we'll see. Only time will tell based on
I'm
his
gonna
act.
I'm gonna predict. This could be a wrong prediction, but I'm gonna just throw it out there. I think that if it does stay permanently, the compromise will be like America won't own it 100%. It'll probably be split. So I don't know the percentage of what it'll be split with, but the current company in America, that way America will be able to still have his hand in the cookie jar, sort of say, and maybe that'll be the compromise they meet. That's kind of what I think is gonna happen.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, they ban it just like the other countries have already. So
Mm. And that's a good
don't
thing too
handle
that you point out. Yeah, other countries had it banned too, so it's not
it. Right.
like we're the
Right.
first ones to do it.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. But
Uh,
I don't see it getting banned permanently. I really
mm.
don't.
Close this on out.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope that you liked what you saw. Take what you liked, take what you didn't. Oh, well. But comment down below if you had any opinions, thoughts, wanted to agree, disagree with anything that we've said.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so don't forget to subscribe
Mm.
and keep sharing these videos.
Keep
Okay.
sharing the videos.
Well, thank you guys for watching our podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take what you can from this video and just prepare yourselves for what's to come. If you like this video, if you didn't, too bad. Like, the comment, subscribe. And don't forget to just keep your notifications posted because we post every week. Thank you. Have a great one.